Good morning and welcome to World News here on TVP World. I'm Maureen Cato. At least 2 people have been killed and 13 injured, including a teenage girl in an overnight Russian attack in Kyiv. The strike left the western part of the Ukrainian capital without electricity. Both missiles and drones attacked the city, which resulted in several explosions. Damage was reported in as many as 9 places across the capital, including a number of multi-story residential buildings. The Russian strike came in 2 waves, around 1 a.m. local time and then again at around 7 a.m. The head of the Kyiv military administration said during the attack that Russia is terrorizing the residential areas of the Ukrainian capital. A Ukrainian delegation has set out for the U.S. to participate in talks regarding a peace plan promoted by U.S. President Donald Trump, according to Bloomberg. The outlet reported that the party consists of senior Ukrainian defense official Rustem Umerov and Deputy Foreign Minister Sergiy Kyslytsya. They are reportedly headed for Florida, where they are to hold discussions with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. Earlier, the American news website Axios reported that Zelensky's chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, was due to participate in the meeting. The official, however, submitted his resignation on Friday following his flat being raided, linked to an ongoing investigation into a high-profile corruption case in Ukraine's upper echelons. Last week, the Trump administration set a deadline of November 27th for Ukraine to accept a peace plan. We just don't know how far, how deep, how wide the scandal is, Peter Zalmayev told TVP World when discussing Ukraine's corruption scandal, in which President Zelensky's chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, had his house searched on Friday. Although Yermak stepped down from his position amid the allegations, Zalmayev claims that the now former official will not be brought to justice anytime soon.
Well, it means finally that Zelensky's come to terms with the harsh reality that he's going to have to part with his most trusted confidant or his most trusted Grey Cardinal. We still don't know exactly what the duties of Mr. Yermak encompass. He seemed to be omnipresent and omniscient and powerful, and this has been long overdue. I think that the final push may have been given either by the U.S. or the European side. Jumping ahead, I will tell you, I'm not sure that we will soon, see justice meted out to Mr. Yermak, whichever, such justice he deserves anytime soon. It will be a long investigation. Still, many different aspects of this case have not come to light, may not come to light until after Zelensky himself will be out of power. We just don't know how far, how deep, how wide this scandal is. But this is the very minimum he should have done at the very beginning of this crisis. The fact that he sent Yermak to lead Ukraine's delegation at talks in Geneva, that just signaled to the public, at home and abroad that it was business as usual.
Moving to Belgium now, where Prime Minister Bart De Wever is standing firm in his opposition to using frozen Russian assets to support Ukraine. As our Europe correspondent Alex Cadier reports, De Wever says releasing the assets would endanger the peace process and his country's credibility.
Well, a rather firm, if not scathing letter from the Belgian Prime Minister to Ursula von der Leyen, the Commission President, saying that the idea of a reparations loan from the EU to Ukraine is wrong. He is worried about legal issues that Belgium may face. He's worried about Euroclear, the company holding these assets, also facing legal problems. He's also worried about the reputational damage. He says this is a confiscation. The EU Commission may want to call it a reparations loan, but as he sees it, if it walks like a confiscation, it talks like a confiscation, it is a confiscation. That could risk other countries removing their sovereign assets from Europe for fear that they also may be taken. So Bart De Wever wants guarantees from all EU member states that 140 billion euros would be covered by them if something goes wrong with this loan. And he says that member states that don't want to participate, the rest will have to cover that bill. A lot of demands, including a liability cover for Belgium if they get sued, that the EU will take the liability and not Belgium. He wants the other member states who have sovereign assets to use them as well, including France. He wants G7 countries that have sovereign assets held, including Japan, to also participate in this loan if Belgium is going to take such a big risk. Now, clearly, he is under a lot of pressure from other member states to do so. Earlier today, I spoke to the Lithuanian ambassador who said, we have to move, we have no time, we need to fund Ukraine with this loan and then crack on with more sanctions on Russia. The proposal from Bart de Wever, instead of this reparations loan, is to take 45 billion euros from the existing EU budget to cover Ukraine for 2026 and then figure out how to move forward after that. In Brussels, I'm Alex Cadier for TVP World.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has wrapped up his visit to the Kremlin after nearly 4 hours of talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The two leaders got together on Friday to discuss their countries' economic ties, including Russia's crude oil and gas supplies for Hungary.
I will tell you what I have said in our previous meetings as well. Hungary is interested in peace, and we sincerely hope that the peace proposals on the table will lead to a ceasefire and peace, and we have not given up on any area of cooperation with Russia under any external pressure.
The aviation company Airbus ordered an immediate software change in thousands of its A320 passenger planes after a flight control incident. The move has already impacted travel worldwide, with many flights cancelled or delayed.
Airbus recommended a software change in its A320 aircraft due to a defect in flight controls, whose functioning may be disrupted by intense solar radiation. The fault was discovered after an Airbus plane flying from Mexico's Cancun to Newark in the US on October 30th had to make an emergency landing in Tampa. An intense sudden drop in altitude led to the hospitalization of several passengers of the flight. The company said in a statement that it acknowledges that the necessary software update may lead to operational disruptions to passengers and its customers. There are around 11,300 A320 family aircraft in operation worldwide.
After Sławomir Uznański-Wiśniewski's return from the International Space Station, Poland is not slowing down in its pursuit of a stronger presence in space. The country is on its way to open its own technology centre after a letter of intent was signed between the European Space Agency and Polish officials. The goal: cohesive development of European space security and resilience capabilities.
Poland is poised to reach for the stars. The European Space Agency and Warsaw signed a letter of intent to open a space centre in the Central Eastern European country.
The focus is to support the efficient and coherent development of European space security and resilience capabilities, and focus thematically on dual-use applications.
And regarding the timelines,
the operation starting in 2027. To achieve this, a joint task force will be established within the next 3 months of today's signature.
For Poland, a space venture seemed a natural next step in expanding its defensive capabilities.
We do believe that it's important that this center will have also the dual-use technologies component. We need to develop our space competences as well. We need to be better in telecommunication, we need to be better in observation, we need to be better in dual-use technologies, as we need to take challenges seriously.
And according to analysts, the expansion into Central Eastern Europe is part of an effort to respond to the continent's strategic priorities.
With the invasion of Ukraine has changed dramatically. Now ESA is getting more and more involved in what the member states require. If the member states request more space programs focused on secure connectivity, safety and defense projects, then ESA somehow has to follow.
And as the second Polish person launched into orbit, Sławomir Uznański-Wiśniewski highlights, this will be a mutually beneficial partnership.
The ESA Center already shows a huge potential of our market. It is huge for ESA as well, because this will be the first site, that technology site, that can be established or will be established in Central and Eastern Europe.
And this comes as Poland is poised to prioritize space as one of the focal areas of its ongoing rearmament mission, with Polish satellite producer ISI amongst the suspected beneficiaries of the almost 44 billion euros Warsaw will receive as part of the EU's Security Action for Europe loans programme. For TVP World, Zuzanna Jurek.
Moving to southeastern Poland, where Norway is leading a training mission for Ukrainian forces. Camp Jomsburg was set up earlier this year and is backed by 7 allied nations, becoming a key site for readying Ukrainian instructors and soldiers for frontline deployment.
Deep in the forests of southeastern Poland stands a clear example of expanding Nordic-Baltic defense cooperation and the region's sustained support for Ukraine's war effort. Camp Jomsburg is part of Operation Legio, Norway's biggest overseas mission in Poland. It serves as an instruction hub for Ukrainian instructors in battlefield leadership, resilience under combat stress, and the operation of weapons systems supplied to Kyiv by NATO countries.
Task Force Legio is a Nordic-Baltic joint effort to support Ukraine.
Named after a mythical Viking fortress, Camp Jomsburg was established by the Norwegian Army earlier this year and is backed by 7 other NATO allies from the Nordic and Baltic regions. And it's here that Ukrainian soldiers are preparing for the front lines.
There is a saying, it is impossible to be ready for war, but you can prepare for it.
Today, Norwegian and Ukrainian instructors work side by side, showing Ukrainian troops how to survive, adapt, and outmaneuver Russian forces on the battlefield.
It's a great experience working with the Norwegians. They accept the experience we bring to the table, and we also have something to learn from them, and it is a very interesting collaboration.
Located conveniently near the Ukrainian border, but the camp's currently undergoing a significant expansion.
It's them fighting the war right now, it's not us. But we bring in our competence and are really doing 100% what we can do to improve those soldiers being here.
Instructors from Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and other countries are expected to join in due course.
Namibian politician Adolf Hitler Unona has retained his seat in a small northern district of the country despite his controversial name. As Africa correspondent Sophia Ba explains, he's been a locally elected member of public office since 2004.
He's a local politician in Namibia with a name that rings many bells and brings a lot of painful memories for humanity. Adolf Hitler, not Nazi Germany's notorious leader, but a regional councillor in the Oshana region, has retained his seat in his constituency yet again, despite his controversial name. He has represented the city of Ompunja since 2004 as a member of the Southwest Africa People's Organization. While Namibia's Electoral Commission has yet to release the official vote count, multiple reports indicate that Adolf Hitler Ononua won by a large margin. The 59-year-old has been a popular figure in the small northern constituency for fewer than 5,000 residents, having won the election with 85% of the vote in 2020. Throughout his career, Ononua has been lauded of his grassroots work and anti-apartheid efforts. Despite sharing a name with the infamous European historical figure, he has repeatedly stressed that he's absolutely nothing to do with Nazi ideology. The center-left SWAPO party, which he represents, originated in the Namibian liberation movement. It campaigns on anti-colonial politics, including the rejection of white minority governance. Namibia was once a German colony and part of German Southwest Africa, and Germanic names like Adolf remain common in the country. Sophia Ba, Dakar, Senegal, TVP World.
From long lines to lightning-fast online deals, Black Friday is back and shoppers are wasting no time. Retailers are slashing prices and the hunt for bargains is officially on as the holiday season is fast approaching.
Today they put sales, everything is cheaper, so it's actually a good day to go shopping, to get some Christmas stuff for the kids.
I think it's quite a popular day, especially since Christmas is coming and people are already buying gifts, so they can take advantage of Black Friday. It's also an opportunity for stores to sell more goods.
It's cheaper cost, and a lot of people comes here. I actually came from Łódź to here today to enjoy the offers for Black Friday in Zloty Mall.
If you find something that costs less, I believe you can find something. But you also have to buy sensibly. You should remember to use common sense, because common sense is the basis.
I love shopping. I like to look good, so I go shopping frequently.
And that's all for World News. Thank you so much for being with us, and stay tuned for more news and analysis on TVP World. Goodbye.